Welcome back in. Vote, 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 vote. We are headed out to Arizona right now. We already went to Pennsylvania. Kari Lake with us now, running for Senate in Arizona. Kari, this is your second straight election cycle. You ran for governor in 22. Now in 24, based on the numbers I'm seeing, Arizonans are showing up and voting Republican in a big way. What would you want our listeners to know? We got a monster audience all over Arizona. What do they need to do? What's the latest?
Well, we're seeing a huge record turnout. We had a record turnout in early voting for Republicans. We're seeing a massive turnout. But what I want your listeners to know is they got to vote. Just ignore all of that. If you're thinking, well, I hear the turnout's good, maybe I can detour and skip the vote. No, we got to get out and vote. If you are getting off work tonight at 6:30 and you haven't voted, go to a polling place. As long as you're in line by 7 p.m., you can. We've got such a great ground game right now. Turning Point Action's been incredible. I called them earlier this week and told them one of my concerns was what happens if people pull up to a polling place and there's problems. The printers don't work. The lines are 2 hours long, 3 hours long. And so they rented a fleet of party buses, and we are monitoring the waiting time at each location and showing up with these buses and allowing people to jump on the bus, and we'll take them to a polling location where there's no line and they can get in and out in a hurry. And so far, that's been incredibly successful. I got to give Turning Point Action credit for putting that together, renting a fleet of buses, and we have them deployed all over Maricopa County. Maricopa County has about 68% of our entire state population. So we want to prevent any problems. We want to locate where there are problems and then try to move voters to locations where they can get in and out much faster. We have a 4-page ballot, so it takes a little bit of time. And what we're hearing on the ground is just incredible turnout all over the state, historic turnout. And we're feeling really good about today, but we don't want to, let off the gas, pedal to the metal right up until polls close tonight. And we're hoping that what we see is just a huge surge in people who want to save our country. I got to tell you one story. As you can see, I'm on a bus. I'm on our tour bus right now. This is our campaign bus. And we're driving down the street, Clay and Buck, and I just see this young woman waving an American flag. And she's just, a random act of patriotism. And we're seeing that all over. It is so beautiful what we're seeing on the ground in Arizona right now.
Kari, to that end about how close things are, I think that the general prediction consensus is that it's looking very good for Trump and that you are in an absolute, fight to the finish here with your opponent in the Senate, Ruben Gallegos. Can you speak to how you see that right now and why you think when push comes to shove, if everybody listening, we got a lot of Arizona listeners, fortunately, gets out there and votes, you're going to be able to bring home the W in this one?
I believe we will bring home the W. I mean, you look at this polling and none of it includes this turnout we're seeing today. Historic turnout, twice as many Republicans as Democrats, in some cases more than that, showing up. But the only poll that matters is what's happening today. Every poll that you've seen out there, literally throw it in the garbage. Nothing matters except the poll that happens today. This is the real one. This is when it counts. And we're seeing amazing turnout across Arizona and other states as well. People are willing to stand in line. They are not going to walk away without voting. And so I feel very comfortable with what we're seeing right now, that we are going to pull out a victory here in Arizona. But, I'm not going to exhale until the polls close and we get the ballots counted and we get the votes counted. But the people of Arizona love President Trump. We have had incredible love on the ground here in Arizona for years now, and I think it's going to pay off today.
2022, Kari, and 2020, it took a long time to find out what happened in Arizona. What do you anticipate for everybody who's going to be sitting watching these results come in all over the nation, the time frame looks like for Arizona?
I don't know. I mean, if we get such a historic turnout, maybe we get results faster because it's going to be very obvious. But I just don't know. I really hate the fact, guys. I mean, I'm old enough to remember the days when we had election day and we knew the results on election night. I think most voters want to get back to something like that. Our county recorder said, oh, it could take 10 to 13 days to count the votes. This is kind of ridiculous. So I believe that all Americans want to see streamlined, easier, more election process that we can all have faith in again. But we got to play on the battlefield that we're on. And right now, the battlefield is election month, and people have been voting, and we got Republicans to turn out the vote early. Our early turnout was historic. We haven't seen anything like it in 20 years. And what we're seeing today appears to be historic as well. So we shall see. Maybe we'll have results sooner than expected.
Kari, in 2022, you know this well, Maricopa County, which is where the vast majority of people vote in terms of Arizona, had all sorts of issues. And I think you hit on this already, but I just want to reinforce it because we got so many people listening in the Phoenix area. So far, election day is going smooth, but if there are hiccups, as long as you are in line, you will be able to vote, right? So go ahead and hammer that home and let us know what you're seeing on the ground. But I just want to make sure of that.
And because of what we experienced in 22, I mean, it was so horrible for the people of Arizona to watch all of the problems. Remember, the polling locations weren't functioning, the machines were breaking. This was back in 22. Coincidentally, it was because that has happened and we've been burned by that. We, like I said, Turning Point Action rented a fleet of party buses, and they are all over. We are monitoring areas where there's a long line and a long wait or equipment issues. We're swooping in with the party bus, and we're inviting voters to jump on that bus. And then we are taking them to a location that has no problems. And the lines there are no lines, and we're getting them in and out. And we just want to make sure that nobody walks away and doesn't have an opportunity to vote. So we're trying to look at everything that could go wrong, and we troubleshoot and get on top of it. And I think so far we're having a pretty successful time at it here in Maricopa County in the great 48th state, Arizona.
Kari, I just want to give you one more chance to tell everybody listening in your state. You said that there are different ways they can vote even more efficiently if there are lines, or where can they go for information? And what do you just want to say to everybody in these closing hours?
Yeah, I just want to tell everybody that this journey has been so incredible. And, I've been blessed to be a resident of Arizona for 30 years. And I think the people of this state know how much I love it. I want to go to the United States Senate to help get this country back on track. I want Arizona to be safe once again. I want to make sure we secure our border, stop this invasion we've seen at the border. I want to make sure our kids are getting a world-class education, not an indoctrination. And I want to help President Trump bring back and restore greatness in this country once again. I'm going to go and fight really hard for this great, wonderful state and the people in it. And I would appreciate your support today. I know everyone I'm seeing is saying, we voted for Trump and we voted for Lake. We voted Republican right on down that ticket. I think people are getting the message. That's how we save our country. And I want to represent everybody in this state well.
Kari, assuming things go as they should and you win, you got to come back to a victory lap with us here on Clay and Buck, all right?
I promise. And thank you guys for what you do. We just got to make sure that even if it looks like it's going to be a blowout victory, everyone votes. We just can't let one voice go unheard. Get out there and vote and get in line, and don't leave that line until your ballot is cast.
Absolutely. All right, Kari, thanks so much. Arizona,
Thanks,
Clay. Big Senate seat there, big state overall, and let's set right what didn't go our way in 2020.